All right, this one's for the strength and performance coaches, the ones who can actually coach. You get people strong, fast, and athletic. But when someone asks you, what do? You still mumble something like, I do strength and conditioning online and in person for anyone who wants to get fitter. If that sentence makes you think, holy shit, that's me, then this is your episode. It's not that that's bad, it's the reason, though, that why you aren't getting clients. Today, we're going to build a proper banger offer for strength and performance clients, okay? We're going to bang out who it's for, what it promises, how it works, what it costs, so that in 2026, you're not just the coach who posts cool training clips, you're the coach with a clear offer, a clear lane, and something people can actually say yes to and know without a doubt that you're the coach for them. Here's the truth. Most strength and conditioning coaches sell sessions, not outcomes. Okay, they market methods, not transformations. They copy what their old coach did instead of designing something that fits the market and in this era and where people are in their actual life. And so the offer ends up being this: one-to-one PT, online coaching, custom programming, nutrition, check-ins. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody says the same shit, and they have done for 5-6 years now, and that is why it's getting harder and harder for people selling that to actually make an income and a living from their coaching. It's because it's not an offer, it's a delivery method. That's what you deliver. It's not what you're offering. It's not the transformation that you're giving. And a real offer actually answers these quickly and clearly, okay? It answers who it's for, okay? It answers what they get, in what time frame, and why it's different. Okay, and that's really, really important. There's no fluff, there's no buzzwords, and there's no hiding from it. It's just very, very clear. This is what I do. This is who I help. This is how long it's going to take for you to get that result, and this is why it's different to everything else. We're going to build that out for you now. So if you have a pen and paper, start to write this down. If you have to go backwards and forwards, make sure you do this work. It's very, very powerful. Step one is you need to pick one main avatar. Okay, and it's not 5, not anyone serious, just one, okay? Quite often, you're going to pick your best current client who's got the best results, pays you the most, and you really love to coach. That's going to become your avatar if you haven't done a deep avatar deep dive. For strength and performance coaches, this might look like competing powerlifters, field sport athletes in season or off season. It could be a hybrid, high rocks, functional fitness athlete. Could be busy professionals who want to move and look like athletes again. Could be old buggers like me, over 40, who are just wanting to make sure that, going into their 40s and 50s, they can stay athletic. Okay? Ask yourself this: if you could only work with one type of lifter or athlete for the next 12 months, who would it be? Who would it be? Then write this sentence: I help who, do what, in what time frame. Okay, I help who, do what, in time frame. Okay, examples of this: I help busy blokes 25 to 40 get strong, athletic, and lean in 16 weeks without living in the gym. I help club rugby players build strength, speed, and conditioning in the off season so they dominate next year. I help junior athletes build confidence, speed, and power so that they can go to the next level in their sport. Okay, I help women 25 to 40 go from doing random workouts to being the strongest motherfucker in the gym within 6 months. Okay, this sentence is not marketing fluff. It's your flag in the ground. You really have to commit to this. Literally, I've said this to every one of my coaches who is successful. Is like, what do you want to be the best in the world at? That is what you do. You be the best in the world for that one person, that one result. Everything else filters off the back of it. The cool thing is, and this is what scares most coaches off, is like they think if I just commit to one person, I'm going to scare off everyone else. It's actually the goal. If you look at it, and I'll just take Australia for example. So I'm from New Zealand, but if we take Australia, okay, there's something like 11 million people on Instagram in Australia. Most coaches would be over the moon if they had 100 clients. Take 11 million and minus 100. How many are you left with? Something like 10,999,000, something like that, okay? Your goal is to scare off everyone because you only want 100 people who are on Instagram going to say that this is the exact program for me, okay? And that's the crazy thing about that is I have women who want to get strong. I have coaches who want to get strong. I have junior athletes, full-time professional athletes. I have all sorts of people, but they're all very, very similar when it comes down to it. And because I'm clear with what I do and who I help, these other people are still attracted to it anyway. But you have to be extremely clear, and you have to plant the flag in the ground and say, this is what I do. Part 3 is we're going to structure your offer. Okay, so for strength and conditioning, simple wins. Okay, what this looks like is a fixed term front end. Okay, a 6 to 12 weeks. And this could be I'll get into what this looks like in a second, but you have to pick something that is a simple win up front. Okay, this is what people are sitting in your Instagram and are looking for, that one quick win, that initial fix that's going to get them, remove the brakes, that's going to take them to the next level. An ongoing option for the right people. Okay, so this is how you structure your entire money model. If you are unsure on what a money model looks like, go back through my previous podcast because that's in there. What a fixed term front end offer might look like. Okay, for example, it could be a 6-week strength and power sprint. Okay, it could be a 6-week power and speed, engine builder, something like that. It's just something that's got a very, very specific outcome, a very specific time frame, and it's something that is laying the foundation for future success. It could also be something like a 12-week athlete rebuild block. Okay, let's say they just come into they've come out of the season, going into preseason or off season now. It's like they got niggles and all of that. It's like, let's get your body back in one piece by putting in the foundation, some quality training, some mobility, some foundational work that's going to give us, and we're going to do it with a 12-week athlete rebuild block. Okay, 16-week strong as fuck intake. Okay, so this could be something where you're going to get people in really peak strength performance. But you look at that for your front end offers, you generally got a 6, a 12, or a 16-week. Okay, there are little variations to that, but essentially it's short, medium, long, okay? And then they'll run into your main programs after that. All you got to ask yourself is, how long does this run? How many sessions or touch points? What's actually included, okay? This makes it concrete, okay? So let's say for the 12 weeks, you get 3 to 4 days a week per week of programming. You get individualized conditioning based on where you're at in terms of, whatever test you're doing, yo-yo test, Broncos, 2Ks, whatever you're working on. You get nutrition guidelines, whether we're going to build muscle, get you lean, whatever it is. Weekly check-ins, access to me via Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever it is. If someone can repeat your offer back to you after hearing it once, if someone can't repeat your offer back to you after once, it's too vague. They should know straight away exactly who it's for, what it does, and what's included. Okay. So now let's work on the price. This is where most strength and conditioning coaches keep the handbrake on. So if we do a quick recap of our money model episode, and once again, go back a couple of episodes, it's in there as well. What you got to do is unpack what's your 12-month income goal, okay? Let's say most of my coaches are looking to make somewhere between 200 and 500K this year, okay? What's your monthly target for that? You're looking at somewhere between 20 and 40K per month, okay? Let's say 20 and 50K per month. How many clients does that actually require? Okay, I see a lot of great coaches charging 50, 60 bucks for a fucking good program. Like, I've seen their program, I know what they do. And they're like, look, man, I want to make 20K a month. And I'm like, well, charging $60 a week, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of clients, a lot of people to look after, and it's going to dilute what you're doing in terms of your delivery. And so what you got to really look at from this is, how many clients does that actually require? And so let's say, for example, if your program is 12 weeks at $1,200, so $100 a week, which is what a good strength and conditioning program is worth, and you want 20K months, that's roughly 50 active clients at any time. You just need to add about, let's say 1.5 a week if you're going to take into account things like retention and stuff like that. So you need to add about 1 client a week to have a 20K month or a 250K a year business within the next 12 months, okay? If that sounds cooked and you're like, there's no way I could deliver for 50 clients, your price or your structure is wrong, okay? And if you're like, hey, look, I could handle 50 clients for sure, awesome. If you're like, man, I only have space for 30, cool. Then you need to up your price, okay? You need to charge more, and you need to make it even clearer on what you're delivering. For most solid strength and conditioning offer coaches, a banger offer usually lands around $600 to $1,000 for 12 weeks, for 6 weeks. 1,200 to 2,000 for 12 to 16 weeks. And one of the things is when you attach a higher price to a shorter time frame, people are like, yeah, I can actually do that. You know, like often when it's something like 6 weeks, when it's something like 6 months at $100 per week, people are like, should I have to pay $100 a week for 6 months? But when it's $1,000, which is over $150 a week for 6 weeks, they're like, okay, I want to get really, really fast, really, really powerful, really, really strong. This guy's going to take care of my training, my nutrition. He's going to coach me for 6 weeks. Yeah, I got $1,000 for that. Okay, the value, the perceived outcome, the time frames, they all line up, and that's why you can charge a higher price. And this is why a banger offer is really, really important. Okay, really, really important. Pick a price that makes the math believable. So what I mean by that is like if you look at how much you want to make, how many clients, and then what it's going to cost, you have to pick a price that actually makes that all believable. Okay, and where a lot of coaches go wrong is they're charging out of their own pocket. They're like, man, I don't have $50 a week. Well, it's like, that's probably why you're broke, you know? So you really got to understand, it's like people do want to pay for quality, and I guarantee you are undervaluing yourself. You are undervaluing yourself. I've seen coaches who shouldn't, they definitely valued themselves a lot higher, and they had a higher price point, and they were still making sales. You know, but there's other coaches who are far more skilled, put way more time and way more experience, and are like undercharging by 50% minimum. Okay, it's something you can say without choking. So you can't just say, "Hey, look, my program's $250 per week, and I'm locking you in for 12 months." You know, you might be like, "Oh shit," okay, but you know, when I met some young coaches in America, they were charging $2,000 a month for like one PT session a week type thing. You know, with an online program that everyone got. And so it's like the people are there that will pay these prices for the right stuff, okay? It's also got to match the outcome you're promising. If you have a 12-week or a 16-week AFL Combine prep program that will take them from good to achieving fucking phenomenal results in the AFL Combine, that leads them to getting drafted into the AFL, you know, that price, when we look at it, what's an AFL contract worth? You know, somewhere between AFLW, somewhere between, I believe, 50 and, you know, 200K a year. AFL men's is somewhere between probably 100K up to $1 million a year, you know, so they're happy to pay a couple grand for a 16-week program that's going to improve the likelihood they get drafted. And you just start to look at it from this. When you put together these really good offers that really match this, you'll find that the money is there, okay? So we don't sell elite prep at $40 a week, and then you're going to ask yourself why you're burnt out, okay? So now we name it. Bad names are online coaching, PT packages, okay? It just ain't going to hit, and because everyone's doing it, and it's like it's unspecific. If you went to a Chinese restaurant, and they're like, we sell Chinese food, you're like, okay, cool. I love it. I love Chinese food. But then you're like, well, I actually wanted sweet and sour pork. You know, and it's like, but they just named it Chinese food. It's like you're probably not going to go back there, or you're going to be like, you're probably just, I'll check out the next restaurant. You know, because online coaching is that. It's like, hey, I sell online coaching. So does every single PT on the bloody planet, okay? What you got to have is a better name, okay? So a 12-week strong as fuck intake, a 12-week, you know, lightning speed program, a 12-week AFL Combine, a 12-week NPC Combine program, a 12-week strength and power program for rugby players. You know, it has to be specific, and it has to have a better name. An off-season weapon program, you know, a hybrid engine and strength build. It could be the off-season engine build, you know, the off-season lung buster, anything like that, you know, is like going to be more specific. People know what they're buying right off the back of it. So then the question is why this, okay? Why not every other Get Strong program? And your answer might be, then you got to answer this, okay? So why this? Why this program? Not every other Get Strong program. Your answer might be something like this. You understand the sport demands, okay? If you can look at a player and know that, hey, the reason why they're not strong in contact is because of X, Y, Z. They're either weak, under-muscled, potentially like their structure is just not built for it. You understand the sport demands better. This is why you charge a better price. You're time efficient, okay? You're able to, work around hectic schedules. Maybe they're in season. Maybe it's a top tier athlete who's in season. You're like, hey, bro, I played, NPC. I played all around the world for 10 years, and I understand the structure of this. If I was still playing, this is exactly what I would do. Okay, you've lived the journey yourself. Your program philosophy is different. Okay. There's a lot of stuff out there now that you can do little microdosing things that are going to move people forward really, really in big ways that ain't going to impact from their in club or whatever, season. Stuff with powerlifting and that as well. So now you got to write 2 to 3 bullets. Who it's for, why it works, why it's different. Okay. That's the offer. It's not your logo. It's not your post. That's the offer. All right. So all it is here is something that when you nail, and I do, please go back through this, rewrite it down, send me questions at Dylan Limitless on Instagram and say, hey bro, I listened to your podcast, I wrote this down. What do you think of my offer? I'd fucking love to see it. I want to see good coaches do really, really well. I just had a young AFL strength and conditioning coach come on the other day. I'm like, bro, you're the perfect person for this. Let's build something fucking awesome. Send me over your offer. I'll have a little look over it. I'll run my eyes, see what I can see in it. Because you get this right, it drives everything else. It makes your content easier. It makes your sales easier. It makes your delivery of your program much easier. And you become the expert for that. And in a world where you can get huge amounts of reach almost overnight with the right strategies, it can be something that can be very, very good for your business. So if you're listening to this and thinking, I've got all this in my head, but I've never actually locked it in, priced it properly, and built it into a real money plan, this is exactly what I run inside of our craft sprint for strength and performance coaches. It's a 14-day sprint where we lock in one real offer. We lock in your avatar. We get very clear on who you want to coach, their language, their messaging, the offer to match that, and then your money plan to actually go and make it real business, okay? After back of that, we also give you daily money work of how to actually grow. And this is for coaches doing somewhere between 3 and 20K per month who actually want to grow properly in 2026. The link is in the description of this podcast, or you can DM me, Sprint at Dylan Limitless on Instagram. I'll send you all the details. Even if you don't join, please do take your coaching seriously this year and build out this. My job this year is to help good coaches get their shit to the world so that we can make the world strong again. Let's get it. All right.